Hey guys, Mr. Ryan here. Um, let's talk about the lesson today and um, what the week's gonna look like going forward. I have blue light glasses on. I didn't lose my vision, but after staring at screens all day, these have really helped with any headaches I've been getting. All right, so let's start. So last week was makeup week for all of the assignments that have been posted to the classroom, and I've noticed a ton of you guys really took advantage of that and turned in excellent quality work. The work is on a pass-fail basis, but a lot of you guys are showing a real character of putting in that extra work. And trust me, when we get back to normal, that extra gear that you were hitting during this crisis, during this whole thing, pay dividends um, in terms of your educational career. Just being able to put that extra effort into it is very impressive. Another thing, so today's lesson is a continuation of the lessons the week prior where we were working on our narrative essay. And this essay is a choose your own kind of adventure essay. I mean, you guys had the outline sheet. You guys could select what type of story you want to write, and a lot of them are very interesting. You guys are doing high quality work at home. It's like you don't even need me. But if you do like these videos, okay, I'll keep making them for these lessons going forward. So just to briefly touch on suspense, I didn't have a video for that, but suspense building is leading up to the conflict. You want to ratchet up the tension in your story during your suspense building section. So when your main event takes place, you can just have the character engage with the conflict and attempt to solve it. Whether or not they solve it is up to you guys. You guys are writing this story yourselves. So today, let's just talk about main event. If you looked at the lesson today, a lot of these points I'm just going to reiterate. Okay, so we have description. You can't even read it. But anyways, it says description, place your reader in the story. Description is going to be most of what you write, even in your main event. I know it's not your elaborative detail, but even in your main event, it's going to be most of what you write because you want to place your reader there. You don't want your reader ever to be confused as to what's taking place. And the way to keep them informed is to keep those sensory details, sight, hearing, feeling, smelling, tasting, keep your reader informed of what's going on by using those sensory details throughout your story. So that will be the main part of your main event. I know it seems like just elaborate detail, but it's definitely still a main even in your main event. The second thing that you need to have a lot of in your main event is action. You need to move the plot forward. Okay, your character needs to engage with the conflict. So my example that I've been writing about, it's based off of a kind of true story. So John Smith, the guy who knew Pocahontas from the Jamestown settlement in 1609, he was a mercenary, so like a soldier for hire, and he was captured years before this whole Jamestown thing, after a battle against the Turks in Hungary or somewhere thereabouts. So I just took that as like my inspiration for my story. So the action in there, in my main event, I'm going to have John Smith kind of get captured. It ends well. I mean, he escapes, he gets back to England, but in my main event, he'll be captured. So that's where the action takes place. Thought. Okay, so thought, you can just have your character just think of something, like, for instance, my character is riding down the road, and the soldiers kind of cut him off, and he's like a thought that would occur in his mind would be like, "Oh no, I'm in trouble," or something along those lines. And the last one is dialogue. Going back to your "This I Believe" essays that we wrote in November and December, part of what I noticed is that you guys really like using dialogue, and I like using dialogue too. I think it's definitely necessary, but treat dialogue like salt for food. It's great. It adds some flavor, but if you just like dump the whole thing of salt onto it, it overwhelms the dish. It would overwhelm your story. So don't put too much dialogue into your main event. Notice in my example, I have a little bit of dialogue, and it's surrounded by action, description, thought. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of mimic that level of dialogue. Don't have too much dialogue going on, because then it kind of just turns into like a soap opera, and you don't want that for your main event. You don't need that. So that's the main event lesson for today. We're not going on to main event continue. That's tomorrow's lesson. If you're interested in helping me out, if you want to like respond in a private comment to this assignment post or whatever, just say like, "Oh, you can use my main event section, for constructive criticism or for good." A lot of these have been really good that I've seen. So if you're interested in me having like an example up here of yours, please let me know. I don't want to use it without your permission. Just giving you a brief view on the week ahead. We have today's the main event. Tomorrow is the main event continued. Wednesday will be actions leading to conclusion, and Thursday will be extended ending. And we're doing 4 days of instruction this week. That may change next week, so I got a couple questions on that. Just wait until as soon as I hear, you'll hear. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for doing a really good job. Look forward to reading more of your essays. Thanks, guys. See ya.